Hey, Coach Jess here with another relationship tip for you. I do want to talk about forgiveness and apologizing, but first would like to hit on toxic relationships because forgiveness and apologizing is going to look different depending on whether you're in a healthy relationship or a toxic relationship. And so first we need to talk about what would make up a toxic relationship. And I want you to do some self-evaluating as well to make sure that you aren't contributing to your relationship in any toxic ways. Now, a healthy relationship would have equal giving and receiving on both ends of the relationship. In a toxic relationship, the toxic person is always the receiver, making the other always having to be the giver. Also, toxic people tend to take away others' agency by controlling them, manipulating them, and overstepping boundaries. So be watching for that. They also like to shame the other for mistakes, acting like they never make mistakes and shaming and making the other feel very belittled for any mistake they may make. They also tend to care about their own interests above all other interests. They don't tend to care much about the other person and what they might need in the relationship or in life. It becomes mostly about them. They are usually the exception to the rule. So other people they hold highly accountable for their own internal rules that they have for others, but they don't have to follow those same rules, and they tend to be the exception to it. They have little remorse for mistakes they make, sometimes not even any remorse for mistakes they make, and they don't feel like they need to work on anything in the relationship. Everything that goes wrong in the relationship is all about the other person, not them. So take a minute and evaluate your relationship to see if you may be in a relationship with a toxic person. And then also do some self-evaluating to see if you may need to change your ways to make sure that you're contributing to the relationship in a healthy way. Now, sometimes we do find ourselves in toxic relationships with a toxic person. And this is a great opportunity to learn and grow in self-love, where we can choose to stand up for ourselves, hold on to our agency, not let others shame us, understanding that everyone makes mistakes and it's an opportunity for learning and growth rather than shame. We can also learn to stand up for our own needs and interests. And there does come a time when some of these relationships do need to end if the toxic person is unwilling to budge and unwilling to do any work to help the relationship get to a healthy place. Many times in a toxic relationship, there is the toxic person and then the other who becomes a codependent, where they are at the mercy of the toxic person and they're constantly giving and giving and giving and never feeling fulfilled in that relationship. They need to take ownership for that part that they're playing in the relationship and no longer self-betray themselves, but show self-love for themselves by standing up for themselves and sometimes getting out of those relationships if necessary. I have had some experience with toxic relationships. I have seen it, and it is very damaging to a person's self-worth if they stay in these relationships for too long, and it can have far-reaching effects on their future relationships as well. So it's very important to make sure that your relationships stay healthy, that there is equal giving and receiving on both ends, and that they don't have any of these qualities of a toxic relationship. And if you need any help with anything or have any thoughts, go ahead and reach out to me at coachjessica@gmail.com, and that is Jessica with an A, not an I. I hope to hear from you. And until next time, take care.